Hey, 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 you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., the underdog with the heroic heart, and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today I have Mr. George Brooks, CEO of Meta Association. And how are you doing today, sir?
Doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Before we get into today's conversation, today's episode is brought to you by Christian Dewan, my personal brand, positive energy through your clothes. If you use the promo code Underdog Talk, and Underdog is spelled UNDERDAWG Talk, you get 15% off. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. We'll have more hoodies and sweatshirts as the fall is about to come. But if you use the promo code, you get 15% off at christiandewan.com. All right, let's get into today's conversation. I think today's conversation is going to be a good one because it has to do with men, mainly black men, which both of us are, mental health. And so, how did you become like an advocate for, before we get into our conversation, how did you become an advocate for mental health?
Well, about age 7, I began to realize that I was having some issues as far as how I processed my emotions and my feelings and things like that. And, I was diagnosed with some issues at an early age. And I had to grow up with them and not just grow up with them in American society, dealing with that as it was, but dealing with it as a black man and dealing with the trappings of manhood, such as adolescence, rite of passage, uh, marriage, fatherhood, with all that compounded with mental illness and being a black man. So, having gone through so much and being tested, I came to a point in my life where I decided to become an advocate because that feeling of suffering, of loss, of pain that I went through, I didn't want anyone else to have to go through it. And I chose to focus on black men because that's what I am. And I believe in taking care of home first. Charity begins at home. And once I begin my work here, then we can transition over to helping with other cultures. But I want to help black men first because that's what's nearest and dearest. I have sons that I'm raising, so that's where my focus starts.
I understand, and I love that you knew that you had, issues that you had to deal with, and you had to deal with them before you could help somebody else out. And sometimes, um, we don't realize what we go through is for other people. You had to go through all those things so you could be a person to be able to help. And then having sons, that's just as important because we know as fathers, like, what's it like to be a black man in America, what you have to go through, throughout your day, things that can happen just because you're a black man. And sometimes we don't release, we don't let our feelings out, or sometimes if we do let our feelings out, we could be around the wrong people and they'll take it as us complaining or something. It's like, no, like I just want to express how I feel, and we can't do that. So I applaud you on that because that's very important in our community is mental health. So how did you start? What did you do? Like once you got, you together and to help others, did you start like a program? Was it just like, oh, I'm gonna just help a couple people? How did you go about starting to actually help others with their mental health?
Well, one thing I started doing was really looking at what helped me, what was effective. Kind of like how Bruce Lee was. You know how he said, "Use what's useful, abandon what isn't." So I looked
Hmm.
at what techniques helped me. What did I learn from people that was beneficial, and I took the things that really helped and started trying to find ways to utilize them and just trying to help people. I started my nonprofit, went through the proper legal channels, set everything up officially, did everything the right way. I did not do like a lot of us do, and I'm just gonna be honest, it's black folks and piecemeal something together. I made sure I did everything the right way and started to implement some things, started to network, started to get involved with other nonprofits, started to collaborate with other people. And that's really the thing about helping people. You have to collaborate with other groups and just started to do some public speaking, get my message out, talk about my process. And I found that's really been what's helpful to people is talking about what I've been through. You would have thought maybe it would be maybe me come up with a program or a pamphlet and saying, okay, do A, B, C, and D, And it's really kind of been the antithesis of that. It's been mostly me just talking about, hey, this happened to me. And people identifying with that and us going from there. So it's been mostly my testimony, which through by the grace of God I've been blessed with. But that's really been what I found has helped the most people.
I love it. I love it. Being transparent and vulnerable. That is helpful. Like when you like, I didn't realize like having my disability and me talking about the things that I overcome, it would help other people. I thought I'm like, well, I just deal with it. But then like people can resonate. They might not have went through what I went through, but something happened in their life, and they're like, man, okay, a buddy could do it. I could do it, and that's kind of just how it is. And those of us that are advocate for different things to help people, we got to be vulnerable and share that. So I love that you were able to go out there and share. And like you said, you got to make that paperwork, make the paperwork. And that means have the proper paperwork. Don't say, oh, I got a business, oh, I got this, and you don't got the proper paperwork. You don't got nothing legal, because guess what? Uncle Sam, the IRS, they don't play. They don't play. They don't care how big your business is, how small it is. If you don't have that right and you saying you making money and you ain't paid them, oh, they're gonna come get you.
Right.
And
right.
so
and it's just you want to be better equipped to be able to help people.
yep.
It's not a lot of money in running a nonprofit. It's really not. It's not about the money. Anybody, and that's one thing I really want to go out of my way to say. With small nonprofits and your community outreach people and your churches and things, one thing I've learned is that I was blessed enough through the grace of God and hard work to survive the pandemic and this current economy that we're in. I've been a one-man operation, but I've been blessed to experience tremendous growth through hard work and perseverance. So please support your local communities, support your local churches, your local nonprofits. The old man that sells fruit that does it for the community, support them, because they really need your support, not just financially, but even your prayers help. And I think a lot of times those people get overlooked. A lot of times we as Black people don't support our own, and that really hurts us. So let's make sure that we do that, because those are the people that are often forgotten. If you don't want to support my nonprofit, fine, but support someone, because you never know what that person may be going through. But if they're out there still supporting the community, we owe it to them to serve them as well.
That is so true. Like I had a mentor program and I was coaching and all that, but life was happening. Yeah. Like stuff was going on, but I'm still out here. And sometimes people don't realize that, like when you volunteer, you have a nonprofit, like you said, it's not about money, it's about helping others. And it's like, you got to support those people. It's not like nonprofits are things that people volunteer. They're not like making money. So it's not like they're going to short you. They're not going to say, oh, whatever. No, it's like, go help them, go support them. Like when your kids on a basketball team or whatever sports team, hey, bring the snacks, maybe come to practice, see how you can help, whatever the case may be. Because like you said, those people are doing it from their heart. Like, and you know that, I know that, because we're both in the community and doing things like that. And it's like, we don't get the support, and it's like you go and support over here, but you don't want to support right here. That don't make sense.
Right.
That don't make sense.
And people don't understand, without those organizations, a lot of those programs go away, because the government's not going to come in and fill that gap. We can't sit around, especially as Black people, and keep trying to wait on someone to come in and fill those voids in our communities, let alone financially. I mean, the government's sitting on billions of relief aid money now that they aren't trying to disperse. So, if they're sitting on money now that they aren't getting into the communities, you have to do something to stimulate that growth, to stimulate that activity on your own accord.
Yep. And so let's get into mental health. What we're talking about messes with people's mental health. Right. Someone that works at maybe a 9 to 5, they could be an entrepreneur, but they they have programs to help in the community, and they're not looking for money, but it's like you don't get the support, and then you're like, am I supposed to be doing this or whatever the case? And especially if it's a man, because a lot of people don't realize men go through a lot of stuff that we don't show. Women go through a lot of stuff too, but as a black man, just waking up and going outside, you coming home is a blessing. Right. Like anybody it is, but for us, it's a blessing. Because if we get pulled over, we might, okay, it's not about making it home, it's about making it alive and just dealing with those different things. Or you might go into a restaurant and you get some racism. You like, man, I'm coming in here to get me some lunch. I'm on break and you on here and with this bull. No, we not, so it's different stuff that we go through with mental health. So what are some of the things that the men that you've talked to go through? Like, you don't got to name a whole lot, but what are some of like the top things that with mental health that black men go through?
Racial trauma, the stress of daily life, the pressures of being a black man in America. We're probably the most ostracized group demographic in, dare I say, the world. We're the most harshly judged no matter what we do. And we're the group that's the most beheld to not expressing our emotions. See, anytime just the fact that we can admit that we have a mental illness is seen as a weakness. I mean, it's seen as a flaw. So, just operating off that by its own is something that has hindered our race. It has. And we have to get over that. We have to get to a point where we can express our vulnerability so we can process our emotions, so we can heal and get past them. Because black men not addressing our mental illness is keeping us broke. I mean, we don't think of it that way. And, I didn't think of it that way till I really realized it. I said, why am I not making the kind of money I want to make? And I'm still not, but a big part of the puzzle is I need to deal with my mental health issues. I need to process a lot of what's going on. I need to process those things that are holding me back. I need to look at why my relationships with women are not optimal, why my relationships with other cultures aren't optimal, why my relationships with my children aren't exactly where I want them to be. And until we start processing those emotions, and I'm glad I didn't leave this out, why my relationships with my brothers, other black men, have to be so angry all the time. Why is it that I feel the need to feel aggression if I bump into you? Why are we still on that? See, we have a lot of work to do. But see, first we have to do it individually. We have to do it alone. Then we need to do it as brothers, as men. Then we need to get with our women, then our children, then our communities, then so forth. It's a process, but we have to begin it. Man, and that means being open. That means being open to therapy. We got to get over it. We got to tell people my business. You do it anyway at the barbershop. You do it every day on the corner. Talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. You have to be open to medication if you need it. If you have a heart condition, if you have cancer, you're going to take your chemo. If you have a mental illness, take your medicine. Get over that old way of thinking, because it's not helping. The way we've been doing things isn't giving us anything but death and misery. So it's time for us to try something new.
Man, you own it. I was just gonna say something about therapy. Like, therapy is helpful. Like, if you listening to this, like, if you don't got a counselor, you don't got some type of mentors, some type of positive people that you can go to get that off. You not, like you said, we'll go to the barber shop and talk all day. We'll be on the corner with our homies, or maybe not on the corner now, be on the porch, be wherever, and you talking to your homies, and they like, oh yeah, man, I feel you. You need to talk to somebody to say, hey man, you right on this point, but this part, you wrong. Yeah. And to you, like you said, you got to work on you. You got to work on the inner you. And a lot of it is because of the way we used to think, or the generations before us used to think. Because as men, like growing up, like if you had a lot of women, all you was the dude. You was that man. But then now, as I'm 36 and I see successful people, all of them married. All of them with that one woman. They not out here in the street sleeping with everybody or doing none of that. And you like, hold on. So everything that they were showing me when I was a shorty, it ain't, oh, okay. Especially like with therapy as a black community. Oh, I'm not going to tell nobody nothing. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Why not? What you've been doing ain't working. So if it hasn't been working, guess what? You need to try something different. And mental health is very important. Like you said, sometimes you might got to take some medicine. You might got to do some different stuff that you ain't normally done, but it's going to help you. Because if your mental ain't right, you can't do nothing. Because you get punched in the face by life and your mental ain't right, you're going to drop down.
Yeah.
Look,
and
just like that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, and just because you might have to seek therapy, I mean, you crazy. That's not what it means. It just means
everybody crazy. Everybody crazy. You gotta, it don't matter if you a billionaire, if you homeless, if you make 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, or you make 50,000 a month. Something is wrong. Everybody has some type of flaw. Everybody has gone through some type of trauma to where they gotta fix it. And in life, it's just like the UFC fight. I don't remember the dude's name. It was a championship. So the dude that was a champion, he was whooping Buddy. He was whooped. I'm talking about, I fell asleep. I just knew he won. I woke up and the other dude won because his mental was there. His mental was like, I can take these punches. I can take these hits. If you don't have your mental right, you can't take no punches. You get fired and your mental ain't right, you don't know what to do. You might want to go up to the job and shoot somebody because you don't got your mental right. And like you said, us as black men, like, why when I walk up, you gotta have a mean mug or you gotta look me up and down. I'm coming in the gas station like you coming in the gas station. Right. Or I'm getting me some food. Like, we as black men got to stop with the, oh, you from over here or you this and that. It's no, we gotta work together because all the other communities do. All the other communities, the men, they work together. That's how they got that bread. And we don't want to see other people win that look like us, and that makes no sense. Because if we all stuck together, guess what? We would win. So, I like what you said about the relationship with women. I think a lot of our mental health has to do with that. So, speak on, like, what are some of the things that you personally kind of went through or go through with the mental health, dealing with relationships that, could help somebody else, or just how can they help somebody else?
Okay. I found that my relationships with women in my life improved once I became accountable and basically cut the bullshit with myself and started looking at what I was doing right and wrong. Until you are accountable for what you do, you can't have a good relationship with anybody else. And once I did that, and once I was a man and said, look, yeah, this is my flaw, this is what I do, okay, and got right with myself, I could kind of see other people for who they are and what they were, and I could appreciate people for who they were. And it really impacted my relationship with women in the sense that I was able to really appreciate womanhood, for what it is. Of course, none of us are perfect, but I can see the goodness in womanhood and appreciate it. I think I have a deeper appreciation for motherhood, for sisterhood and those things. And that's really rewarding for me. And I'm able to see people for who they are instead of me. Let me put it this way. If I'm in a situation and something happens that I don't like, I'm not apt to say, well, all women. Even if I say it verbally, I'm not thinking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that individual. So you're less likely to generalize. You're able to see more as individuals. So that helps you because you're able to see womanhood for what it is. And I'm hoping that maybe women will do this and adopt some of what I'm saying for themselves so that they don't come into it and look at all men as, oh, they all this, that maybe they can see us as individuals too. Because we deal with our trauma and we generalize our pain. We hurt and then we say, well, all men, all this, all that, instead of taking our time in life saying, no, this person hurt me. It's not because they were a man. It's not because they were black. It's not because they were white. It's not because they were Republican. It's because they were just a messed up person. But this other woman was good to me. So we have to do that, and we have to kind of learn to sift through our own emotions a little bit more and think, and we have to get to where, especially as men, and listen to what I'm about to say, we have to try to respond and not just react. A response, you take a moment to think. a reaction you just do. And that's going to keep us out of jail more. It's going to keep our pockets looking a little bit better. It's going to make our relationships a lot better. And all that ties into mental health. And that's a lot of why I started my nonprofit Mental Association.
I love what you said at the beginning, holding yourself accountable. I don't think a lot of people, men, women, hold themselves accountable for their actions. And that's one thing that I learned. I was married, got a divorce, and just after that, I was like, man, I got to hold myself accountable for some of the stuff that I didn't do. I can't say it was this, that, because as a man, we don't realize our energy is the main energy. If you come in the house and you got an attitude, everybody got an attitude. If you come in the house, hey, family, how y'all doing? Hey, everybody going to be happy. So we got to take the accountability as men, like, okay, all right, I had a bad day at work. Let me sit in the car for 5 minutes before I go in the house. Perfect. Let me, or it's, hey, let me call, don't got to be your pastor. It could be whoever. Let me call such and such and get this off my chest before I go in here, because she made me mad this morning and I got an attitude from work and it's about to go down if I go in here. But sometimes we don't do that. Like you said, we react. And I've learned not to react, because sometimes you don't know what the other person going through. So it's like, okay, maybe they having a bad day. This ain't normally them. So I'm going to let this slide. But I'm going to talk to them when they not on their feelings, because I need to address, hey, you ain't going to talk to me like that, or whatever the case may be. So sometimes it's like not meant for that moment. Like you can't just always be like, all right, I can't wait till she done talking. I'm about to get on her. For what?
Right.
For what? Right. To cause more problems. Because guess what? You're not going to win an argument with a woman. You might as well just be, you not going to win. So it's like, all right, I hear what she say. Do I respond? Okay, how do I respond? Because sometimes it's how we respond that messes us up. And that's relationship with anybody. And like the last thing you would like, you said some stuff, man. Like you said a lot of stuff that can help us individually. That's where it starts, individually, and then realizing how other people don't. I think one thing with mental health, we have to realize other people don't think like us. Me and you could be from the same neighborhood, same age, mom and dad, best friends, but we think totally different. So in a certain situation, I'm not going to do what you're going to do, and you're not going to do what I'm going to do. So you can't be like, well, I would do it this way. And that's a lot of our problems when it comes to with relationships. We're expecting somebody to do or think like us. Everybody don't think like you. So once you hold yourself accountable and you realize, okay, everybody, I'm my own individual. He not going to think like me. So let me not go cuss him out because he didn't do what I did or what I expected him to do because I thought. And that's a lot to do with mental health. So what do you think about journaling, writing stuff down? How important is that with mental health?
I mean, now that I think about it, I think everybody kind of journals by default anyway, because everybody on social media all day. So I mean, everybody kind of journals anyway. Just look at the post throughout the day. You know, somebody gets something to drink, they post about it. So everybody kind of journals anyway. And and I'm glad you brought up the point about that everybody doesn't think the same. I mean, and I'm sure people are gonna look at this and be like, man, I don't believe what he's saying. And you ain't got to. You can do your own thing. But if you keep doing things the way you've been doing, I mean, they got two places for you: jail and the cemetery. I mean, hey, that's they never close. They always got vacancies. So if you want to keep on being a damn fool and not addressing your mental health, go ahead. That's up to you. But if you want to try to do something better for yourself and better for your community, you can try something different. But if you want to keep on beating your head against the wall, they got plenty of penitentiaries and they got plenty of cemeteries. Have at it.
And we almost can end the episode on that one, because that's the truth. And we're not saying that everything like mental health is going to lead up to that, but we talking to us. We talking to people that look like me and you.
Yeah, go ahead. Look at those stories that usually end up there, and if you break them down, it's usually a mental health component somewhere in there that was not addressed, that was not dealt with, where somebody didn't do something along the lines of addressing their mental health that got out of hand, that resulted in somebody ended up dead or hurt or incarcerated. Okay, because they kept doing the same old thing.
Yep. Perfect example of mental health and not dealing with it. So I think it happened maybe last week, few weeks, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. A dude caught his girl cheating. I guess she been cheating several times over and over. He takes their kids, kills the kids, and kills himself. That's a mental health issue because there's no reason you would even, if your mental was together, you wouldn't harm your children. You wouldn't want to harm yourself. You would be like, all right, I'm done with you. I ain't even about to keep going back there. Like, why do I keep going back there and you keep doing this and you hurting me? And now I feel the need to hurt me and the kids. That's a mental health issue.
Well, just
That's
think about all the signs, all the instances, all the police calls that probably happened before that were ignored, all the red flags that people just didn't heed. They led up to that. See, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't taken seriously. Oh, he just this or he just that. See, Black people, we had a lot of us have not taken our mental health seriously, and when it leads to that, then we want to talk about it.
Yep, you're right. You're right. It's because it's like you don't become homeless overnight. It's steps that happen. It's things that happen. You don't win the lottery and become broke the next day. It's stuff you did to lead up to that. So, like you're saying, it's stuff that leads up, and it's people ignore it. Oh, that's just him, or oh, that's just how we are. No, that's not how we are. That's how they want us to think. That's how they want us to be, and that's why we harm each other. That's why we do stupid stuff to ourselves, or we don't do the stuff of going and shooting up places, but we shoot each other because of our mental health. Because, oh, I don't like the way you was looking at me. Oh, he messing with my girl or this and that. Okay, this one thing, and not to get off subject, but I never understand when people in relationship, why do you go after the other person? You're supposed to talk to your person at home that you're in a relationship with. What's going on? Why are you out here doing this?
Because we have poor communication skills. We don't know how to communicate. It's not that we don't communicate. We do communicate, but Black men, we communicate wrong a lot of times. Because I'm guilty of it. Even to this day, I haven't figured it out. So, I'm just saying, it's a lot of work we have to do. It's a lot of work. And I'm not saying I got all the solutions, but at least I'm willing to try to find some answers. So that's one thing we all have to endeavor to do.
Yep. And that's so true. Like with me, I like people will take because I'm a very passionate person. So if you get me and my voice get loud, oh, you talking loud. No, I'm not talking loud. That's just me. And it's like I had to realize, okay, I can't be a certain way or get a certain tone in my voice because they don't hear nothing I say. All they hear is the tone in my voice. So it's like, all right, I got to talk in this normal voice so they can understand that I'm not being a loud Black guy or I'm being aggressive. Because I work in a school and I work in kindergarten, and from kindergarten to about 3rd or 4th grade, there's one other Black person, and I'm the only male in that area. So it's like, okay, they're gonna look at me. If my voice get loud, they're gonna say I'm the angry Black man, and it's like, no, y'all ain't seen the angry Black man. No. I just have a loud voice, which I can't really help. But then it's like, let me calm down, so they can't control the narrative. I think we need to understand we have to control the narrative on ourselves first, and then in the situation. And that starts with that communication you said. Right. I communicate to myself before I communicate to somebody else, or I communicate to God before I communicate to somebody else. And you have to sometimes communicate to yourself. Like, you could be in a situation. All right, let's not do that. That's old me. Let's walk away from this. If you can't calm yourself down, then you got a little mental health. You look crazy. If you can't say, all right, self, let's go.
And I want people to, I don't want people to feel as though that when you have a mental health issue, or I never want people to feel as though they don't have a right to their emotions. You got a right to be angry about something. You got a right to feel sad about something. You got a right to feel however you feel, but you don't have a right to take that out on other people. You don't have a right to inflict damage on the rest of the world. You should try to process that and heal from that If you're angry about something, all right, be angry. That's cool. But see, when you reach that outside of you and it starts hurting people, that's when it's a problem. So that's what I mean by dealing with our mental health.
You man, listen. I got so many. I can't wait to edit this and chop up some clips because man, yeah, like you got the right to be angry, upset on your feelings, but you don't got the right, like you don't have the right to take it out on somebody because guess what? Say if whoever, your brother, your friend, your mama, your sister, they have a bad day and they come at you, oh man, why you on that? But then yesterday you was doing that. So guess what? It happened to you and you didn't like it. So you can't do it to other people. You can't like I said earlier, and when you're in a relationship, work went bad. You can't come home and take it out on your kids or your girl or whoever there. Like you can't take it out on anybody else. You need to sit in the car, whatever you need to do, calm down so you can go in and have a positive attitude because life happens. We get it. Like
and you have to be open to if that's something that happens on the regular, don't be afraid to go talk to somebody. See, that's the thing. See, we have to make that connection between those moments when that's happening all the time, when we having problems at home, to going and talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And breaking that stigma of feeling like, well, people gonna think I'm crazy. What the hell do you care what people think about you? You know, you supposed to be all this and that and that out in the streets, and you don't care, and you this and that, but you care what people think about your health. Does that make sense? If you so real, take care of yourself. That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna be so real and so this and so that, then be really real and take care of your mental health.
yeah, yeah, that is so true. Like I say it all the time. Everybody ain't like Jesus. He still did what he did. Everybody ain't gonna like me. I know everybody don't like me, and I'm cool with that. So you can't care of what people think, like you said about your mental health, not theirs, yours. Because guess what? If you actually go crazy, those people ain't gonna be there to help you. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own. And one thing, like we said earlier, get around positive people or people that can help you. I joined the online community. It's called G-Men. It's mainly black guys. You know, you got a couple here and there that's not, but it's a positive group. And when you get to talking to other men, they go through the same stuff. It's like,
that's the thing.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
Communication, because, you know, one thing I've learned is that a lot of my story, a lot of us have gone through the same thing. So it's not just me. And what you said about toxic people, we as black folks, we not, you know, we got to get over that. Well, that's my mama. So if your mama toxic, she got to go just like your friends got to go. I don't care if that's your mama. I don't care if that's big mama. I don't care if that's your brother. Toxicity cannot be tolerated and be conducive to a healthy mental environment. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, you the one got to live in this space. You the one got to deal with it. You can't escape this. So you have to protect that because it influences those that you love and those around you.
Listen, I don't care who you are. Hey, anybody know me? I don't care what part of the family you are. If you cross them core values of mine, I ain't messing with you. I don't care who you are because my peace is more important than you. My peace is more important than somebody else coming in, like you said, and messing up my peace. Like you gotta, one thing with your mental health, you gotta have boundaries. You gotta be able to say no. You gotta be like, all right, I used to do that, but I'm not going over there. Like if you know there's some drama over there, you know somebody could get to fighting. Why would you go over there? And you got kids now. Like a lot of times as men, we don't think about the consequences that happen when we do certain stuff or if we just go somewhere. And not saying you can't go to church and something happened to you. You can go anywhere. But if you put yourself in a bad predicament, you can't be like, oh, it was because of such and such. No, you could have stayed at home. You could have stayed a little bit at home and not did that. But like you said earlier, just a minute ago, if you real, be real with yourself and get your mental health together. Because if you don't got your mental health together, I don't care how real you think you are, you could break down. Because look at all the people that's rich, all the people that got money that then killed themselves or then overdosed or then done this. It ain't about money. It's about your mental. It's about what's inside of you. It's about who you are as a person, not what you do. It's about who you are. And if you don't got that mental together, you gonna be out here in the streets, and the streets gonna eat you up. And I ain't talking about streets like ghettos, shooting gangs. I'm talking about
The
outside. You
world.
go outside and your mental health ain't together, it could be a long day for you. And
Right.
that long day could turn into, like you said earlier, doing something stupid, ending up in jail, or doing something stupid and killing yourself, or some being at a situation where you thought you was having a bad day and I'm tough Tony, and you didn't realize buddy over here had a gun and he ready to shoot. Now you dead because you mad because you didn't go talk to somebody, because
Yeah.
that's just how life is.
Or your
So
pride. You let your pride get in the way of your health.
listen,
Pride
your
is not
pride
pride
is
should never trump self-preservation. And taking care of your mental health is a matter of self-preservation. And we have forgotten that, or we were never, that was never instilled into us, and now it has to be. So
your pride to get you 6 feet deep. Your pride to get you behind jail, because I mean, behind bars, you got to get that pride in order. That ego, you ain't always got to be tough Tony. Sometimes you got to be like, all right, I'm gonna let this one slide. I made it home today. Because sometimes your pride, yeah, go ahead.
And I can say this from experience: when you address your mental health as a Black man, you will almost always show your children a better way. You will almost always show your kids and the people that love you a better you and a better way.
If
And
that ain't
that
the truth,
alone is worth it.
if that ain't the truth, because my oldest has definitely seen growth, my youngest has seen growth, and it's like my conversations with, like, I don't whoop my son, I don't whoop him. Like, unless he do something super crazy, I talk to him. What's going on? Because guess what? He could have had a bad day. Somebody could have been picking on him and nobody seen it, and he came home and took that anger out. It's like, come on, let's talk about it. What's going on? I do the same thing with my students. What's going on? You all right today? You usually don't act like this. And when you work on yourself, you're able to ask questions. You're able to actually see how somebody feels. Then, oh, they just being bad. No, you can't just do that. Because if you don't have your mental health, you will mess up your kids' mental health. If you don't got your stuff together, you'll take the wrong habits, the wrong everything, and give it to your kid, and then your kid gonna be like you and wait till you 30 and 40 and realize, dang, daddy was jacked up. Daddy was teaching me some messed up stuff. Now I gotta work through all this. Now I gotta go. If you work on yourself, the other people around you will want to work on themselves, or they'll start doing the stuff that you do as a man. So I need 3 tips, man. 3 tips that Black men can do to help their mental health today. Like, when they listen to this episode, they like, all right, okay, I can do those things. What are 3 things that we can do to help our mental health?
All right. Create a safe place for yourself. Find something that you do that's going to bring you peace. With this, you taking a drive, as long as it's not destructive and it's not unhealthy. If it's drinking and drugging, then it's not going to help. Try to find something productive that you can do. If it's music, some creative, that's your own space, and try to do it an hour a day. Just your own space away from everybody, and protect it. Make this sacred for you, for your own mental health. Number 2, try to have relationships with people that are positive. You know what I'm saying? If you're around people and you notice y'all not talking about anything that's uplifting, and y'all not talking about anything that's not advancing you, you may want to kind of distance yourself from that person, because maybe that's what's holding you back. And misery loves company. So when you surround yourself with negativity, that's what you're going, you end up becoming the construct that you surround yourself with. And most importantly, be patient with yourself, man. Changes don't come in a day. Epiphanies don't just happen, overnight. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So my 3 tips are: find a safe place, a safe activity for yourself that is just your own, not with your woman, not with your kids. It's just for you. And make sure that people know that's your thing. That's your space. Be patient with yourself, and enjoy the process of trying to heal. So those are my 3 tips.
I love that first one, create a space. And like you said, it could be anything, just something positive. Like me, at the end of the day, I usually watch something funny. I'm usually watching either a stand up or a funny movie, something funny. That's been my thing lately. Like I'm not a big movie person, so it's like it'll take me 30 minutes to find a movie. So I'm like, I'm gonna just pick who I know is funny, or I might watch the 85 South Show because that's always funny. And I watch that and I'm cracking up, laughing, or watch a funny show and that's me because I like to laugh and that helps. And I've noticed that that's helped. Or at the end of the day, I play spades on my tablet. Like I'm either making myself laugh or I play spades, and that's my thing before I get ready to go to bed. That's my little wind down. So those things are important. Or you might catch me having a whole concert, a whole concert, and I'm in here jamming, I'm here dancing. It's just me because I learned to enjoy my own company. So that's gonna help you with your mental health to be able to enjoy yourself. Because sometimes your mental health can be jacked up if you can't even enjoy it. If you can't sit and enjoy yourself, if you need other people around, yeah, your mental health a little off.
And
so
when it gets to that point, you really, and one tip to recognize that, sometimes it gets to a point where you really need to just go and bite the bullet and talk to somebody. And you could do it confidentially. You don't have to go and disclose all your business. You can go talk to people discreetly, but if you get into the point really where you can't enjoy anything, then you at the point you need to seek help. And there's no harm in that. So, you can always, reach out to local organizations or my nonprofit. You can reach me at metaassociation.org. You can email me at gbrooks@metaassociation.org. I do respond to everything personally, so I can offer any assistance I can or point you in the right direction.
I love it. I love it. So you already gave people how they can reach you. Before we get out of here, I need a quote. It could be your quote, it could be a quote you live by, it could be a quote you saw, but we need a quote from you.
This is a quote. I don't know. I don't know who to credit this to, but how you do anything is how you do everything.
I've heard that before. Yes, definitely. How you do anything is how you do everything. I promise I try to tell my son that, like, dude, if you over here and you doing good at these games, and when it's time for basketball, you need to do the same thing. And that's the same thing with me. Like, if I'm good at podcasting, I need to be good at everything. I need to be good at everything that I do. And once you realize that one thing that you're really good at, you can be good at everything else, it'll help you in the long run. Man, I appreciate this conversation. It was very wholesome because it was transparent, it was vulnerable. Just two black dudes talking about mental health, which you don't always catch. Like, I'm gonna share this out with all my homies, all the people, like, so they can hear this, because this is the kind of conversation that we need to have as black men, because it's a healthy conversation. We can talk about LeBron stats, who this, that, and the third, but sometimes more so than others, we need to talk about our mental health, because when you talk to somebody else that look like you, 9 times out of 10, they going through some of the same stuff you going through, and it's like, oh man, now y'all can work together and help each other out, become accountability partners. Hey man, when I'm going through something, can I call you? Yep, call me anytime. And that's how things work. That's how you get a positive person rather than just talking to somebody about nothing. Because if anybody know me, if you get to talking about nothing, I will get off the phone with you. I don't care who you are. Hey, I gotta go. I do not do small talk unless it's like I'm talking to somebody and we ain't talked to them and we catching up. But again, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. Where you stay in Texas? What part of Texas?
Dallas.
So you repping Dallas very well. You're helping people in your community.
And I'm originally from Memphis, so I split my time between Dallas and Memphis. So those two cities have my heart. So I'm doing my best for both of them.
I love it. You in 2 different cities, 2 different main cities that definitely need it. I know Memphis, they go through a lot of violence and all that different stuff. And a lot of that is from mental health. So again, man, I appreciate everything that you do. You told everybody how they can reach you. If you want to reach me, Underdog Talk, on any platform, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on LinkedIn, Eric Jones Jr. I post stuff about the podcast on there. You can email me at underdogtalkpodcast@gmail.com if you want to tell me what I'm doing bad, what I'm doing good. If you want to know more about a guest, maybe you didn't get the information. I will have all your information in the show notes. You got any closing words?
This was fun. I thank you for having me on. And I thank everybody for watching. And you can reach me at metaassociation.org. And I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. And on that note, peace. One love.
All right.
I'm the underdog with the heroic heart. I'm Eric Jones Jr. I have to keep pushing for my kids. If I give up, what's that leave them with? Nothing. I have to understand that it's bigger than me. That it's not about me when I wake up and go to work. It's not about me when I read and educate myself. It's not about me when I'm practicing my speeches. It's not about me. It's about my family.